Imagine waking up and something feels different. Not outside, not in the streets, but inside your life. You open your phone, you check your bank account, and for a moment, it doesn't make sense. Your credit cards, zero. Your student loans, gone. Your mortgage, erased. No alerts, no payments due, no interest ticking in the background, just silence. For the first time in years, you owe nothing, and you're not alone. Every person in America wakes up to the same reality. No debt, no pressure, no weight. It feels like freedom. It feels like a reset. It feels perfect. But systems like this don't just disappear without consequences, because debt isn't just a burden, it's a structure, it's a promise. And when you erase promises overnight, something else takes their place. This is what if, and here's what would happen if the government erased all debt. First, everything looks better. People breathe again. Families that were drowning in payments suddenly have room to live. No more choosing between groceries and bills. No more anxiety at the end of every month. For millions, it feels like getting their life back. And the effect is immediate. Spending increases, businesses fill up again, travel returns, restaurants are busy, stores feel alive. It's not just emotional, it's economic. When people have more money, they move it. And when money moves, the economy grows. For a moment, it looks like the perfect solution. Less stress, more spending, more growth. Even inequality seems like it might shrink, because people who had less suddenly have more. And people begin to ask a simple question: why didn't we do this sooner? But underneath that relief, something invisible starts to break, because that debt didn't just vanish, it was held somewhere by someone. Every loan you owed was someone else's expected return. Banks, pension funds, insurance companies, investors, they weren't just holding debt, they were relying on it, and now it's gone. Not reduced, not restructured, gone. And when assets disappear overnight, so does stability. Banks begin to feel it first. Loans were their foundation, mortgages, credit cards, business loans. These weren't just services, they were income. Now, that income disappears instantly, and banks don't operate on stored money alone. They operate on flow, expected payments, predictable returns, structured risk. Take that away. And the system starts to tighten. Lending slows down, then stops. Because if debt can be erased once, why wouldn't it happen again? Trust begins to fade. And in finance, trust is everything. But it goes deeper than banks. Retirement funds are heavily tied to debt. Pensions rely on bonds. Bonds are built on repayment. When repayment disappears, so do future projections. So do expected returns. And suddenly, millions of people who thought they were secure aren't. Not because they made a mistake, but because the system changed overnight. Governments feel it too, because once they make a decision like this, they send a message. Contracts are flexible, promises are optional, and when that message spreads, investors begin to hesitate. Why invest long-term if long-term agreements can be erased? At the same time, people are still spending more than ever because they feel wealthier, but nothing new was created. No new goods, no new resources, no new supply, just more money, chasing the same things, and that pressure builds. Prices begin to rise, then rise faster. Food, housing, fuel, everything adjusts because demand increased overnight, but supply didn't. And slowly, the relief people felt starts to fade. Now the system starts pulling back. Credit disappears, not reduced, not tightened, gone. No mortgages, no easy loans, no expansion capital. Buying a home becomes nearly impossible without cash. Starting a business becomes harder. Growth slows, opportunity shrinks, and the people who relied on credit to move forward in life are now locked out. The system doesn't crash all at once. It tightens, quietly, slowly, until movement becomes difficult. What began as freedom starts to feel like restriction, because the system didn't just lose debt, it lost structure. Debt was never just about what you owe, it was about how the system functions, how money flows, how risk is measured, how trust is built. Remove it instantly, And you don't just remove pressure, you remove predictability. And without predictability, systems struggle to exist. So the question isn't whether debt is good or bad. It's deeper than that. It's about balance. Because a system without pressure can become a system without direction. And a system without trust can't sustain itself. Erasing all debt feels like a solution. But in reality, it changes the rules of everything. And once those rules are broken, they're not easy to rebuild. So maybe the real question is this: if we could reset the system, how would we do it without destroying the foundation it stands on?